They sat across from me at the polished oak table, voices steady, eyes cold. "Either you sign over the house," my son said, "or we'll have you declared incompetent." 17 words. That was all it took to reduce blood to threat, family to transaction. My $3.8 million home, my life's work, my sanctuary, reduced to leverage in their rehearsed ultimatum. I didn't argue, I didn't flinch. I smiled. "All right," I said, "let's meet tomorrow." They thought it was victory. It was rehearsal. There was a time I lived for that boy's smile. His first steps across the kitchen tiles, his tiny hands clutching my shirt, his voice whispering, "Dad, I want to be like you someday." I fed his dreams, worked double shifts, carved out a future so he wouldn't know hunger, so he could wear the white coat he once drew with crayons. And he did. He became the doctor. Respected, polished, admired. Then came her, the lawyer with sharp eyes and sharper ambition. She wore her intelligence like armor. He fell hard. I wanted to believe she loved him, but when she shook my hand at their wedding, her smile didn't reach her eyes. I should have known then. It wasn't love she was after, it was acquisition. The signs crept in like mold. He stopped calling just to check on me. Her number began appearing on my caller ID instead. Conversations shifted from "How are you?" to "What's the house worth these days?" I heard them once, voices carrying through the half-open door when they thought I was asleep. "She doesn't need that big place," she whispered. "If we get it in our name, we can flip it, pay off the loans, expand the practice." My son didn't argue. He only asked, "How soon?" That was the moment he stopped being mine. I didn't confront them. What use are raised voices against sharpened greed? No, silence is a better weapon. Silence lets you move in shadows. I called an old friend, a man whose loyalty had been tested in darker times than these. A retired judge. He owed me a favor. Then I called my lawyer. Not theirs, mine. Discreet. Ruthless. The kind of man who understands that sometimes the law is a chessboard, not a shield. We redrafted my will, reassigned titles, quietly moved assets, and above all, we built the trap. The next day we met in the lawyer's office. They arrived polished, confident, her briefcase snapping shut like a victory drum. He sat beside her, avoiding my eyes, as though I were already a ghost. The papers lay waiting. I slid them across the table. Their eyes lit up. They didn't read. They didn't question. Greed makes people blind. They signed their portions with smug certainty, sealing their betrayal in ink. What they didn't know, those papers weren't a transfer. They were a trust agreement, airtight and binding. The house, the accounts, every cent. They were placed beyond their reach, locked under my control until the day I chose otherwise. Any attempt to contest would trigger forfeiture. My lawyer had drafted it beautifully, but the real twist came later. A week passed. Then I invited them over. Dinner, one last attempt at family peace. They came, eager, expectant. I poured wine. I served food. I let the evening breathe. Then I handed them an envelope. Inside, copies of the documents they had signed. Clear, indisputable proof that by their own hands they had stripped themselves of any claim to my estate. Not just the house, everything. Her face drained first. The lawyer who prided herself on never missing a clause. She flipped through the pages, eyes wide, lips trembling. My son looked at me, confusion curdling into fear. "Dad, what is this?" "It's the choice you made," I said quietly. "You wanted me incompetent. Instead, you made yourselves powerless." Silence stretched. Then she snapped, voice sharp. "You tricked us." "No," I said, leaning back, calm. "I let you reveal yourselves. You begged me to sign, and I did. Just not what you thought." They begged me after that. Voices stripped of polish, all pretense gone. My son's hands trembled on the table, his eyes wet, his words stumbling. "Dad, please, we didn't mean it like that." But apologies born from desperation aren't apologies at all. They're bargains. I listened. I didn't soften. Because this was never about property. It was about betrayal. A son who traded love for greed. A wife who saw family as currency. The house is still mine. The estate is still mine. And they are left with nothing but each other, their hunger, their shame, their failed scheme. Do I feel guilt? No. Guilt belongs to those who doubt their choices. I don't. I gave my son everything a father could, and he chose to take the knife his wife handed him and place it at my throat. He expected me to close my eyes. Instead, I smiled. Now, when I walk through my home, I hear no echoes of their voices, no shadows of betrayal in the corners. Only peace, only silence. They wanted me stripped of dignity. Instead, I stripped them of their illusions. Justice doesn't always roar.